Hey, hi everyone. My name is Shalaka. I'm client partner here at Lemnis, the customer success org. I am excited to welcome you today to our latest session. In the previous weeks, we met with senior executives at AI Group and then at Circles Life Telco, based out of Southeast Asia. Today, I'm really excited to welcome you and meet with Jaimit Doshi, who's been a great partner with us so far. Uh, Quickly, just jumping into introductions. Jaimit is a marketing and sales leader with rich BFSI expertise across organizations like Kotak Mahindra Bank, Kotak Securities, Wealth Management, other fintech players like CoverFox, and so on. He currently leads marketing and digital at Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance. Besides being an award-winning marketer, he applies his deep cross-functional acumen to, uh, uh, being an advisor at startups, visiting faculty at B schools, and he's also a regular speaker at industry forums. So Jaimit has a strong experience of weaving everyday marketing plans into strategy and execution, and he successfully led a whole lot of large scale global teams. So Jaimit, it's so nice to have you with us here today. Welcome again.
Thank you, Shalaka. Hi, Subra.
Hey. So our next speaker, as always, is Subra, right? So Subra is CEO of Lemnis, which is an innovative customer data platform company. Lemnis CDP has capabilities of real-time cross-channel marketing automation on top of the CDP, right? Subra is an outstanding MarTech and CDP expert who leads the product vision overall, evangelization and thought leadership at Lemnis. Prior to this, he was with Vizuri, one of the hot ad tech companies in India. Right. So at Vizuri, Subra led various product and business roles, and that finally culminated into his role as the CEO. And that's when he saw Vizuri's acquisition by Affle. Right. Now at Lemnis, Subra is also responsible for high-level client relationships and the future innovation of the product. So just quickly jumping into the sections one by one. In the first section, we'll be understanding the unique nature of customer experiences in BFSI. So Jaimit, starting with you, if you can just walk us through your professional journey, and I know it has a very rich BFSI component to it, and how you saw the role of CX sort of evolving, and how business efforts over time changed to focus on it, and some of the unique characteristics in the process that you can call out in your industry. And parallelly, Subra, after that, or in parallel to that, you can also speak about Lemnis CDP product, because we've had some deep BFSI level customizations in our product, right? So I would like some perspective from you too. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Shalaka. I think, yeah, I've had a long experience with BFSI. It happened quite by accident. When I entered this industry, I didn't even know it was the BFSI industry. I just joined the Kotak Group. It was not even a bank at that point of time, in the broking space and in sales, trying to do sales and trying to sell broking accounts. I think that time it was the era of internet, just had come in 2000 odd, and that was 20 years ago. And I think the biggest thing was the fact that we were giving a broking platform on the internet. I think that itself was a consumer experience. Instead of calling up a broker or somebody and trying to park out orders into the phone, you could, with a click of a few buttons, you could buy and sell shares. But over a period of time, I realized that what people expect out of BFSI has just kept growing, kept growing, kept growing. Earlier, it was just fundamentally access. Then they wanted access to various different products, and the whole game was how better and better can you put in, how many more products can you put in? Can you put in gold? Can you put in bonds? Can you put in mutual funds, etc.? And I'm so surprised, no, not surprised, I'm so pleased that over the last 5, 7, 10 years, the consumer has become very, very evolved. And he was pushing the entire industry, saying, simplify kar. So what happened is, from first it was just take the bank or take the broker, etc., put him online. And from putting him online, we started putting lots of things online, and then it became so big that people started saying, Ki, yaar, this is too much. Can we put less things online? Can we make it simpler? While a lot of things are there, how can the access to it become simpler? So I think 7, 8 years ago, I probably figured that the most important thing is simplicity. And I often argue that I think most of us should, if we want to connect with our consumers and we want to provide a better CX, uh, if you just take 80% of what is there and you throw it and burn it, I think it'll become far better experience for everybody. I think reducing choice, giving a few things, making it more relevant, that itself is enough to fuel a lot of the growth. And that is what the consumer is asking. Okay, just simplify this entire nonsense for me.
Absolutely, and I would tend to agree with Jayamit. I think the evolution, especially within the BFSI space, and that's what actually drew all of us who are building Lemnisc as well to this industry initially, although we've expanded since to multiple other verticals. And I think the BFSI industry for me is unique in the sense that, of course, like for example, if you look outside of the broking space, for example, the product portfolios for, let's say, a bank or an insurance company tends to be smaller. They don't have as many products as probably an e-commerce company. But the important thing is that the research cycle and the purchase cycle of of these products are much longer, right? And that just means that an average user that's trying to understand this product and buy it is going to do his or her research on multiple channels and leave nuggets and trails of information each time on each of these touch points, right? So I think from our perspective, as we were building Lemnisc, it was really important to get a holistic perspective or a holistic view of the user, so that you make sure you do two things. You make every interaction as rich as possible, and in doing so, you also make it as real time as possible, right? So and to be able to do that, when we thought of building out the platform, it really means the ability to process these kinds of high volume, high variety, high velocity kind of data very quickly, right? And with a lot of industry context. Like for example, if I were to go to insurance, 60 to 70% of users would probably take just one quote, but the others actually take multiple quotes. So what does that mean? So from a user targeting perspective, it's important to know that this particular user that you're trying to target has taken multiple quotes, and make that available, let's say, for people like Jayamit to use, in the journey, in the sort of experience process itself, right? And so that they can use it into the decisioning process, right? So I think these are some of the ways in which you need to be able to go deeper into the industry context and make it available in the platform, I would say.
So, Subra,
yeah,
I like what you're saying in terms of the consumer is doing a lot of research, and the research cycle is larger in this. But you know what? Let me try and pick a few points over there. A lot of consumers, I think, are not doing research, because the moment you say research, he's thinking, he's reading, he's understanding, there is a structure to it. And I think if I just remove re from there, and he's just saying searching, he's just trying to discover, he's just trying to find out. He's just, the search cycle is large, the flirting cycle is large. So I hear you and I agree with you, but just when you put research, I think most marketers would tend to believe कि ये थोड़ा सा आराम proper कर रहा है. He's not doing like that. He's just fiddling with it. He's flirting with the category. That's why when you look at it, you have 100 people who give you leads, or 1,000 people come onto your website. 4, 5, 7 convert, 12 convert. We are all partying over here. So from 1,000 visitors, you're talking to only 12 actual customers at a best case scenario. At a 15K scenario, you are like, we'll give you an Oscar. So there is a huge number of people who just coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. I think what you're rightly saying, and it comes a lot with what I have seen in my experience, is that people are, I don't know, it's like they're just hitting the product and going away, hitting the product and going away, hitting the product and going away. And then thousands of hitting and only 10, 12 at the end of the day stick. So I think what you're saying in terms of understanding this consumer, understanding which is the right point, understanding which of the others are probably are more stickier than the others or have a probability to stick. I think that's important because a lot of them don't really want a financial product.
Yeah.
They just चल सुनाते हैं, चल देखता हूँ, चल मैंने lead डाल दिया, चल मैंने I just visited the website. He doesn't even know he's reached the website. So when I was in different avatars, when I was trying to understand from consumers that why did you come to us, why would you come to us again, etc. And some customers didn't even know they were with us. So in my insurance broking platform, it's like he was my customer and he named my competitor. And he said, that's why I'm with you. I'm like, ye kya kar raha hai aadmi? And it's not a trivial purchase. It's a 10,000 rupee purchase. So aisa bhi nahi hai. So I think these guys, the consumers are, we believe in finance, they are very involved with the category. I think they are not. I think they are just in and around the category, they are working around. And in the meantime, they happen to buy something and we believe it can change their lives. But for them, it's just one job that got done. Investing was a job that got done. Insurance is a job that got done. Something else, bank account is a job that got done. And it's not something that they have emotional involvement in that sense. They want to get out of there as fast as possible. Therefore, I think the role of the data, the role of understanding a lot of his life stage cycles, the role of understanding where he is, what kind of a mindset he is in, etc., that becomes important.
Yeah.
So I love what you're saying in terms of how one has to understand all of it. It's just that I just wanted to put that little bit of distinction ki itna bhi serious aadmi nahi research karta.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think, maybe that's a good way of putting it. The customer is searching for it, maybe not researching for it. I mean, at any given point in time, many of these purchases in the financial space at least tend to be constraint driven, right? So I think it's really important to understand those constraints or the one or two things that the user is thinking about, which is top of mind for them as they're buying that product, and probably address that as quickly as possible, right? And so when they are, like, for example, like you said, they're casually searching, maybe on the way in their Uber ride back home, or maybe after dinner for a few minutes. And I think it's really important to stitch that together and really understand, okay, what does he want, and can I offer that experience which is relevant, and sort of get them through the process very quickly, right? And I also like what you said about 100 becoming 7, 8, and then 10, 12, spoken like a true ROI marketer.
1,000 people visit your site. High intent keyword, 1,000 people visit, and you have what to show for it? 5.
So I think that that is something that all of us who've been in performance marketing really appreciate, the value of making that 7, 8, right? Only those who've been through that pain will be able to appreciate it, right? And I feel, for me, the business case for a CDP, I joke with anybody who's in the performance marketing space, is very easy for me. I just say, look, you've got 100 users flowing through your funnel and you get 10 conversions. If I can give you a better understanding of half of those, that 10 is going to go to 12. Do you want it or not? And the performance marketer invariably goes, yep, sign me up for it. So yeah. So yeah, I think the other aspect here is when you think of a user that's probably searching for products the way you just explained it, right? In that scenario, Jayamit, one question would be, therefore, what are the 3 or 4 most important components of really building, let's say, a solid, high performance customer experience strategy? What do you think that would look like?
It's interesting. Very, very interesting. I think it's changing all the time. But at the end of it, I would still boil it down to extreme simplicity. And the other one, if it is a pitch, or is it a sales pitch, or is it something else where you're nudging. So one is when he wants to understand it, when he wants to get in, it should be extremely simple. Bank account khulna hai, simple. Mere ko 5%, 4%, whatever khulna hai. Typically, people want to do a short a range of transactions. You don't want a large range of transactions in the BFSI. And when I'm in insurance also, I realize he wants some simple products, simply sold, not too much complex. Iska ye karega, fir der ko ye milega. That's not what he wants. And when we're trying to pitch or when we're trying to explain to him, it's very important that it has to be in relation to where he stands at this point of time. So that is extremely important, that you should not change your life to use my product. You're going through life, my product integrates well into your life. So I think we came across these simple insights that when is it that a customer wants to read research? So when is it that he wants to give you a lead? When is it that it's not, you may think that it is important at a certain time. We realize that he comes on a Monday morning koi lead nahi deta, in that sense, very few. And typically lunchtime time, they're giving leads for broken accounts. So that's when he's finished his job for the day and he's going in and he is now interested in understanding something to do with investments, lunch khake, and then it goes down and it peters over a period of time. So you just understand these basic things. It is his life and try and fit it into his life. So earlier we used to send, I remember in my older avatar, send research reports early morning. So by first thing he wants to read it. Then we realize he opens his email box at 10, 12 o'clock. Probably that is a smarter time to read it. Then we realize there is a large bunch of customers coming after market hours just to think, read, see, etc. There is that we need to cater to. So when we take, if I just understand reality and real life, and what are the kind of words we use in real life, what are the kind of constructs we use to in real life to make sense out of our everyday thing, and we bring that into our product and into our consumer experience, that's very, very, very important. No complex jargons, no complex things, nothing that you need to change to use my product. Let my product just be a simple part of it. Like we're launching, which may be launched right now, the child plan for insurance. You try to simply explain that you are as it is doing for your child. When your child goes to a certain age, he needs, give him, you need a little bit money. If he wants to do little post-graduation, you'll need a little more money. And possibly when he marries or something, you may want to give him some money. We just broke it up into 2-3 things. People understood. कि हाँ, कितना साल देने का पैसा, इतना, कब मेरे को मिलेगा, यहाँ, और फिर क्या, अगर आपको कुछ हुआ, तो ये continue to मिलेगा, बस. When we explain the pitch very simply like this, people understood. That मेरे life में, I'm going, you are adding along with it. I don't have to move across and think through and allocate capital and do this and do that to use your product. I think this is where I think best CX journeys are built, when we bring simplicity to his life.
When Jayamit was obviously referring a couple of minutes back to the fact that there are different users and each one of them have got their own preference with respect to when they open an email. Some people might want it at 10-12 a.m. Some might want it after lunch. Some might need it after trading hours, right? So I think so that just tells you that, as opposed to a cookie cutter approach saying, okay, people do this. People like to open email after lunch on a Wednesday because that's midweek and that's when they're likely to have time. I think those are the kind of assumptions that I think need to be relooked at. And, if you're able to look at Jayamit, Shalaka and Subra in distinct ways and recognize that Jayamit may very well open his email, at 10 a.m. in the morning on Monday, and that might be his preference, whereas you might do it on a Wednesday after dinner. So I think being able to factor that in is really what needs to be done. And to be able to do this at scale, you need AI, and you need, of course, a marketer's intuition to go in, but doing this at scale at an individual user level is simply not possible without using machine learning in meaningful ways, right? So that's what I would say. Yeah. So, Jayamit, I think I was just about to intervene and ask you a question on what you were saying, which is, if you have to keep things simple, right? On the face of it, that sounds, of course, great. Yeah, I mean, I need to know only 2 or 3 things when I'm buying an insurance policy, a life insurance policy. But I think it's easier said than done because, at least it's not just something that one function can do. It's really about having different functions come together. Like in this case, marketing can craft a simple message, right? But the product, a team needs to reciprocate and simplify the product, or the sales channel, which is eventually probably talking to the customer, needs to reinforce that simplicity while not taking away from the from the fact that this is an insurance or a financial product as well. So how do you think these teams should really start sort of collaborating, and do you see that as being important at all?
Yeah, it is. It's extremely important because I think if you leave a lot of the engineering to the scientists, etc., he is likely to over-engineer most of the solutions. I think there is a lot of engineering required. I'm not belittling the kind of stuff that people put on the table, because it's extremely important to understand ki kya ho sakta hai, what can happen in people's lives, and how finance can be extremely important part of it, and how I need to work towards it. But all that financial engineering should be under the surface. It's like the classical cliche of the duck. The flapping of the legs are going furiously to where he's going, and on top it looks like one serene Zen picture. So I think it is very important for the engineering to be there. But I think one of the things that we've started doing is trying to put a lot of simplistic research on the table at all points of time. It's very easy to say, okay, this is the consumer, okay, and try and say, okay, the Bezos rule of keep one chair empty for the consumer. What is he saying? But all of us have various understandings of the consumer shaped by our income itself. So it's very difficult for us to understand. So probably in US, the average salary range is probably not that vast different, but in India, I think it's quite interesting. Like in my office also, in most offices, the lowest to the highest can be a factor of 200%, 200 times salaries. The living conditions are different. So it's not easy to keep an empty chair. It's what is very important is, and what I always try to do is bring simple research into the table. Saying that aap aisa bol rahe hain, no problem. Why don't we test it? Why don't we ask 5 people? Why don't we ask 20 people? And I've also learned the power of asking your own people. People say, okay, you're going out and researching, that's one thing. But if you just go out and research with your sales guys, you have sales guys in Bhubaneswar, you have sales guys in Jammu, you have sales guys in Nasik or Coimbatore, and you ask them and you explain to them, and if it makes an impact in their lives, they are probably more represented in terms of the demographic or the psychographics with the rest of the India than most of us sitting in office. So people like us problem is very strong. When you bring them in at the product stage, at the design stage, and then it becomes easy at the marketing stage. Marketing is just the last layer. It's honestly in BFSI, I think we produce anything and we tell marketing, now you go and sell it. And that's not going to work. Marketing will have to get entrenched a lot more at the product, at the origination point. And he can't get entrenched by opinion. He has to get entrenched by voice of consumer. I remember one of the best research I did one massive research in 2012 or 13, where we did what is the mobile, the rise of mobiles. This was before Jio and all that people were thinking. And 13, 14, what I mean, I did this big research and I did a 2-hour presentation, ye kiya, wo kiya, sab kuch kiya. End of the day, the most impactful part of the presentation that people asked me to keep presenting again and again, I must have presented it 5 times and at some boards also, was simply the photographs of the respondents that I had taken. That's it. In their natural setting. And I had just taken it after meeting everybody, just take a photograph just for the heck of it. And then afterwards I realized it's lovely photos. Okay? And then I put that into a PPT. I said, just you should know your consumer. I think just nothing. I didn't describe them. We didn't put any demos, nothing. Just their natural setting. There's a guy in Bhopal sitting in his office in a wood, he's a wood distributor. Very, very powerful. One other guy coming to, came to office. He looked from a lower demographic, lower income demographic. Very powerful, very big trader. some other guy sitting at home with his tab and trying to trade, his wife's photo with the app opened. And that was so evocative. And then when you start designing products and you start looking at these people and say, 1 second, these people are not me, but I know them. They're my uncle, they're my aunt, they're my brother, they're my sister, they're my helper, they're my worker. And then if you work through, I think a lot of it comes through. Just the simple act of bringing them alive into the room.
How do you factor that into? So I know you, for example, in sort of the earlier interactions that I've had with you, you've always spoken of understanding the journey, right? But I think the journey is very, very different for each of these sort of people that you called out just now, right? So how do you therefore factor all of these things into designing probably one sort of seamless journey for each one of these people? What goes in there? What's the secret sauce?
Honestly, my view is they're not different journeys. So especially in underpenetrated categories. Broking was an underpenetrated category. Insurance is at best a 16%, 14, 15% penetrated category. Of course, when you look at the urban milieu and you say rural versus urban, top towns, etc., you will find a larger penetration. But one can argue that even in that real penetration, as in how much insurance you want, are you adequately insured? And if you put that as a benchmark, you're again underpenetrated as a category. I think largely the consumers are very similar. So when you look at all of them and when you talk to them, it looks like hundreds of different stories. But actually, when you take a thin line and you try and say, is there a common thread? Most stories are one narrative. And there is the ideal customer narrative and why somebody has moved out. Or this is the ideal customer narrative while prospecting and how people saw it and came in and joined this journeys at various points of time. And the journey is an elastic band and you didn't stretch it, because it's not necessarily that in 5 days you get something in your head and you buy a product or you subscribe or whatever. Sometimes it is 5 years, sometimes it is 50 years. From bachpan, I was thinking I will invest in the stock market. I wanted to buy insurance for so long. For 10 years, I wanted to buy, never ended up buying. So it's like a big elastic band. So fundamentally, people tend to follow similar patterns. At least your top customers tend to follow a very straight line method. And when you look at it, and what I saw is that it is a question of other people. You should try and help them see what your champions have seen. And it is that simple. The steps are largely similar. So trigger, consider, search, choose, buy, experience. It can go a little hazy, but you go through all of them. You move from one stage to another stage. Now the question is, if I know which stage you are in, and that's where the journey becomes complicated, because the complication is not that you're following a path. The complication is from where are you entering? The path is largely defined. There, I think digital is so beautiful, because in digital, you have an ability to understand his intent a bit. Either his keyword that he's searching for, you've got an intent. It is a insight into his intent. So if somebody is searching for insurance is somewhere else, somebody searching for child plan is somewhere else, somebody searching for best child plan is somewhere else, somebody searching for buy child plan now is, they're all different intent. They're on the different parts of the journey. Similarly, stockbroking. So somebody says a demat account versus stockbroking account versus trading software versus futures and options. You know that he's on the different part of his journey, and he raises his hand. In digital, he's telling you. So the kind of content he's reading, he tells you what he is up to. The kind of sites he's going through, you understand his mind state. And once you understand that, you take a rough guess. He's in and around that area. And you try and pitch it to that stage. So on this side of the, so on the purchase journey, here you're still talking about the category, why it is important to the category. Then you explain why in this category certain products are important. Then you move into why your company is interested in the category, because now he already knows the category. there is no point selling the category. Now you're talking about your differentiators. And the third is how fast and how easy and how quick at a snap it can be done. Now, this is large rules. This is broad rules. Of course, in every BFSI industry category, I think it is different. But when you understand that, the journeys then become simpler. Otherwise, the journeys can get very complicated. ये कहाँ से आया? वो क्या कर रहा है? But if you put them on a path, typically people like to follow simple paths. Everybody is different, but they are finally heading on that same road, is the way I like to put it.
It's a fascinating way of looking at it, actually. Fascinating, because that just simplifies so many things for you if you really understand that the path is sort of similar. So how does all of this come together? And I think we are probably running towards the end of the clock now, but I do want to understand this because I know you have got some big, bold ideas here as well. Is how does all of this come together in the form of when you actually have to on the ground, let's say, get together a digital stack or your MarTech stack and sort of bring all that together to make something like this happen? What goes through your mind? What are some of the parameters that you probably look for when you make these selections? Because these selections are important from your perspective of meeting your objectives, which you laid out so far.
It's again slightly controversial. I have really controversial views on this. I don't think so much tech. Okay. I think in simplicity, in sense of आज का तेरा क्या problem है, and let's try and solve your today's problem. You have a view that end of the day principles remain. A, interoperability, the ability to move from one feature like email to analytics to one view of the customer to the CDP, etc. I appreciate that, and you have to keep that largely. And largely today, most softwares, most products have APIs that run into each other, so that part is largely solved. But if you have that vision that you're building it easy, obviously the simplicity of the data has to be at some point of time a little clean, and the issues or the biases in the data and the bad data has to be sorted out, and we try and create a data layer. That's the basic, what everybody will try and do. From there, this is like the basic block. After that, you allow everybody to come and say, Tera, let's understand what your problem is. Is it big enough a problem, or is it just a fancy tool you want? I think most of the time we marketers end up buying tools that we think are just fancy. And this is so big. And every time somebody gives me a massive suite and a big stack, many times I drone off. I cannot understand it. It just doesn't get into my head, because over many years I've understood, tell me 1-2 problems that I think I will solve. Like a lot of personalization was in vogue, and like, what problem is it solving? Let me understand that. So, okay, it's going to solve. What percent of your customers are going to come back onto your website? First, explain that to me. Acha. Now tell me, do you want personalization? Is it that big? Do you want to solve website speed first, or do you want to solve personalization first? I want to solve website speed first. Okay, so let's solve website speed. Then you move. Then you want to move. Do you have a problem that customers are coming in and they want to restart their journey? Yes. Now you require personalization. So then we try and put it in. So it's a question of what people, I think, don't get. And I think what I want to always keep in mind, what is your appetite and your ability? That's extremely critical. What is your firm's ability? You can take this massive Disneyland, but you're 2 years old and you can't sit on half the rides because there is a height restriction. What will you do? It's the same thing. You have this massive dreams of doing everything, but an organization maturity, the team maturity, the process, I think you cannot short circuit it. I have seen startups, I have seen large firms, everybody. Startups probably have a shorter maturity curve. Traditional firms have a larger maturity curve, but the bloody hell, there is a maturity curve. You first have to get your basic, you have to get your email, like email orchestration, outstanding. Did you have your domain rep in decent order? Domain rep hi nahi hai. What is your process on domain rep? Suddenly one guy will come and say, the compliance guy, my favorite guy who I like to beat. You'll come and say, I want to send a mailer to everybody in my previous avatar. I remember this. So what, you want to send it to all the customers? Yeah, I want to send it to all the customers who are ever with us at every point of time. Using what? Using the MarTech that you have. I know you can press a button and everybody gets an email. What happens next day to the domain rep of your this thing? It goes for a toss. So all the beautiful Disneyland that you built just died. So when I look at solutions, I look at simplicity. Can I integrate it with my existing stack? Do I broadly see it moving in some direction? Is it a high risk product, very expensive? I have to take 100 people's opinions and put it in, or is it a quick, dirty, fast, nice integration that I can take it over? And will it genuinely solve some problem that I face? Of course, I have people who love toys. I love toys. A little bit of toy, I'm okay with the team loving it and playing with it. But is it 80% toy, 20% delivery? Or is it 80% delivery and 20% toy? Is the question that you have to ask. And then that's how I would.
At one point, I know you almost had split your teams into two. One was the toy team and the other was the delivery team, right? Which is, I remember you'd actually done that. And yeah, it's fascinating. So Jayamit, I mean, thank you so much for doing this session. I think for us, as long as I've known you, you know, you've always been a live wire with big, bold, often counterintuitive ideas. And I think a lot of that came to the fore today in our discussion today. I think this is, and I hope that everybody that's listening to this will really enjoy this and learn a lot from this. So,
what came out from other conversations we've been having is the sheer, you know, composure and the simplicity and, you know, sort of going back to basics approach. So really appreciate that. Thanks, Jayamit and Subra, for joining us today.